Hello, my name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch and I'm an author, and I founded the Wolf and Howl Press. Today's little chat is going to be about how we as pagans view ourselves and how others view us. Does it matter? Well, probably not. Maybe it doesn't matter. I think myself that it does a little bit, because sometimes the way we view ourselves, the way we view other people and the way others view us can impact upon our quality of life. If you come out as a witch and you happen to be working with someone who is strongly religious in a different direction, well, it can cause all sorts of problems. Tell you a story. I was in a shop a while ago, and this little girl came in wanting something with fairies. She really wanted a fairy statue. And it was a charity shop, which I think the Americans call a thrift shop. And she'd saved up her money and in she'd come. So we got chatting about fairies and different things. Well, the woman serving behind the counter was quite elderly, and she took exception to this. She said, "No, you don't want fairies, love." She said, "You want angels. Angels are nice, fairies are nasty." So you're thinking, okay, where's this coming from? And on it went. And when I was talking to the little girl about fairies, she said, "You're going to give her nightmares." And I said, "Well, considering what the angel of the Lord has done sometimes, I don't think so. He's not above smiting this, that and the rest of it. Satan was a fallen angel, so they haven't all got a good press." So I very quickly left the shop. But it was an eye-opener that even something as innocuous as talking about fairies to a little girl who wanted to spend her pocket money can sometimes get you in a bit of hot water. So sometimes you have to be careful. It didn't matter. I've been back in the shop since. I've seen the woman since, and we never mentioned the fairy word again. But it does go to show that sometimes you can think you're amongst friends and you're not. So this is important. Also, how do we view ourselves? When you go to a pagan camp or something, they are wonderful. It's lovely to be amongst everybody. They don't believe all the same, but they have the same kind of outlook. They have this view. Certain things are very similar. And it becomes quite a wrench to try and leave and go away again. It's a pity, because you think, oh, if only it could always be like this. But of course it wouldn't work long term. It would be a bit like Lord of the Flies, where everybody's happy at the beginning and then they're all raving at each other come the end. It would, because human beings are what they are, because we don't all agree the same things, and because you need a structure for some kind of society to work. Even if it's a very loose structure, you need something. You need somebody in charge of who's going to empty the toilets and things like this, practical things. So that's something else. We do have to be careful how people view us, and we have to be careful how we view ourselves, not to make it too unrealistic. I think we can be unrealistic in the sense that we can fantasize, we can use our imaginations, and it's all well and good. But we can also be unrealistic in the sense that we start trying to force others to our way of thinking, which is never going to end well. And we don't really want to do that. I think you have to be a little bit careful in life. I'm sitting here chatting to you on YouTube, but I certainly wouldn't be in the supermarket shouting my mouth off to all and sundry. I would be very careful, and I tend not to go out looking, I wouldn't go out with a huge witchy symbol of any description around my neck. Not a big one, not overtly so, not too obvious. Because these days people are getting less tolerant rather than more tolerant. There was a period where they were starting to improve, but they're not now. It's going back the other way. So you do have to be careful. People do die because of this sort of thing. They certainly get themselves beaten up. And I don't intend to be one of them. And I would rather that none of you were either. So yes, we do. People have this view of witches, that they are somehow evil. They do all sorts of horrible things. They murder babies and goodness knows what. Well, no. This whole business about sacrificing children, every religion under the sun has hurled it as an accusation at every other one. The Christians were accused of it. That's an interesting one. Christians accused Jews of doing it. They accused witches of doing it. This, that and the rest of it. Everybody gets accused of it at some point. So we do have to think hard what we're doing, how we're doing it, who we trust enough to talk to. It's a bit like when somebody asks you, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm fine. Now you might be feeling dreadful. But is there any point, almost sighing down there, is there any point in telling all your medical history to somebody who really just wants to know yes or no? No, there isn't. And it's very much the same with a spiritual path. No, you don't tell them everything unless you're sure they're really interested. There's no point. They're not really listening. So make sure, as you go about your tasks, you know who's watching, you know who's listening. How sympathetic are they? How much are they going to listen? How much are they going to take in what you tell them anyway? It's all part and parcel of it, how we're viewed, how we view others. We may be totally wrong about someone. We may think someone is really, not into paganism at all, whereas in fact they are. So tread lightly, keep an open mind, and keep a smile on your face. That always helps too. And thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.